Have you ever found yourself constantly helping others, only to feel exhausted, depleted, or even resentful? Do you struggle to maintain your own identity and well-being while giving so much to those around you? If you've ever experienced these feelings, you're not alone. Many people face the challenge of balancing their natural desire to help others with the need to care for themselves. In today's world, where helping others is often seen as virtuous and selflessness is celebrated, it can be easy to forget that the most important relationship you have is the one with yourself. Buddhism teaches the value of compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. In fact, without self-compassion and self-love, our ability to truly help others can be limited. The teachings of the Buddha remind us that it's essential to prioritize our own well-being, set healthy boundaries, and practice mindfulness so that we can help others from a place of strength rather than depletion. This video will explore the Buddhist principles of self-love, boundaries, and compassion, and how they can guide us in maintaining a healthy balance between helping others and caring for ourselves. 1. Self-love and compassion. The foundation of inner peace, self-love, is often misunderstood as selfishness. But Buddhism teaches that it is essential for cultivating inner peace and well-being. The Buddha's teachings emphasize the importance of loving yourself first, which does not mean disregarding others' needs, but instead recognizing that you are worthy of care and attention. Compassion is not a finite resource. When we cultivate compassion for ourselves, we have more to give to others. In our culture, it can be easy to neglect our own needs in the name of service. We may feel guilty for taking time for ourselves or indulging in self-care when others are in need. However, ignoring our own needs can lead to burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Just like on an airplane where you're instructed to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others, the same principle applies to emotional and mental well-being. You cannot effectively help others if you're running on empty. Self-compassion is a form of mindfulness that encourages us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and care that we offer others. It involves recognizing that we are deserving of love and care, even in moments of difficulty. When we practice self-love, we make it possible to maintain balance in our lives and give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Have you ever found yourself giving so much to others that you forgot to care for your own well-being? How might your life change if you began practicing self-love and compassion, allowing yourself the space to recharge and heal? 2. Loss of identity. The dangers of self-sacrifice while helping others is noble and fulfilling. Constantly prioritizing others' needs over your own can lead to a loss of identity. The desire to serve others is often rooted in a deep sense of empathy, but without maintaining boundaries, you risk losing sight of who you are and what truly matters to you. Many people who are constantly helping others end up neglecting their own passions, hobbies, and personal goals, causing a disconnect from their true selves. In Buddhism, it's important to remember that your personal growth and well-being are not separate from your ability to help others. Maintaining your own sense of identity allows you to stay grounded and authentic in your relationships and acts of service. This balance helps you avoid the dangers of self-sacrifice, which can lead to resentment, burnout, and emotional exhaustion. To protect your identity, it's essential to engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Whether it's pursuing a hobby, spending time alone, or nurturing personal relationships, Buddhism teaches that self-awareness is key to maintaining your sense of self while helping others. The more we understand and embrace who we are, the more effectively we can serve others without compromising our own identity. When was the last time you did something just for yourself, without feeling guilty? How would it feel to maintain your sense of self while still helping those around you. 3. Martyr syndrome. The hidden cost of overgiving. Have you ever felt like you were always the one to put others first, even at the expense of your own needs? This is what is commonly known as martyr syndrome. Martyrs often feel that their own well-being is secondary to the needs of others, and they may sacrifice their own happiness and health in order to serve others. While helping others is commendable, consistently prioritizing others over oneself can lead to emotional exhaustion, resentment, and a sense of being unappreciated. Buddhism teaches that self-sacrifice is not a sustainable or healthy way to live. The Buddha's teachings on mindfulness encourage us to approach helping others with awareness and intentionality. It's not about doing everything for everyone all the time. It's about helping when we can and doing so from a place of compassion and balance. When we fall into the trap of the martyr syndrome, we often neglect our own physical, emotional, and mental health. This can lead to burnout, stress, and eventually an inability to help others effectively. It's important to recognize the difference between selflessness and self-neglect. True compassion involves recognizing your own limits and respecting your own needs. Do you ever feel like you give too much and don't receive enough in return? How might your life improve if you set healthy boundaries and practiced mindfulness when it comes to helping others? 4. Emotional drain. The importance of boundaries helping others can be emotionally draining, especially when it becomes a regular part of your life. If you're constantly offering emotional support or assistance without taking time for yourself, it can lead to compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue occurs when the emotional weight of others' struggles begins to take a toll on your own well-being. This is particularly common among caregivers, social workers, and anyone who works in a service-oriented profession. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of setting healthy boundaries to protect our emotional energy. Boundaries are not walls. They are protective limits that allow us to continue helping others without depleting ourselves. By practicing mindfulness, we can become more aware of our emotional states and recognize when we are feeling drained or overwhelmed. Self-care is a critical practice for preventing emotional burnout. Taking time to relax, reflect, and recharge helps to replenish your emotional reserves so you can continue offering compassion without losing your own sense of peace. Regular self-care practices such as meditation, journaling, or simply taking breaks are essential to maintaining emotional resilience. Have you ever felt emotionally drained after helping others? How could setting boundaries and practicing self-care help you maintain the energy to continue supporting others effectively? 5. Impact on relationships. The need for balance. One of the most significant consequences of constantly prioritizing others' needs is the strain it can place on your personal relationships. Relationships are built on mutual support, respect, and healthy boundaries. When one person continuously gives without taking time for their own needs, feelings of neglect, imbalance, and resentment can arise. Buddhism teaches that healthy relationships are based on mutual care and respect. Open communication and a willingness to share one's needs are essential for maintaining balanced and fulfilling connections. If you are constantly giving to others but not receiving support in return, it can create an emotional disconnect in your relationships. Setting clear and healthy boundaries is key to preserving your relationships. It's important to communicate your needs and desires honestly, allowing others to understand when you need time for yourself. This balance ensures that both parties are nurtured and supported without sacrificing personal well-being. Have you noticed that your relationships are suffering because you're always focused on helping others? How could maintaining healthy boundaries improve the quality of your relationships and your overall happiness? 6. Enabling destructive behavior. Compassion with accountability. Sometimes Our desire to help others can unintentionally enable destructive or negative behaviors. In an attempt to help, we may overlook problematic actions or reinforce unhealthy habits. This is particularly common when we offer assistance without holding others accountable for their behavior. While compassion is important, it should be balanced with accountability. Buddhism encourages us to approach compassion with wisdom. True compassion doesn't mean accepting harmful behaviors or allowing people to remain in destructive cycles. Instead, it involves supporting others in their growth while encouraging them to take responsibility for their actions. This balance allows both the helper and the person being helped to grow in a healthy and sustainable way. Have you ever found yourself enabling negative behavior in someone you care about? How can you help others without supporting harmful patterns or behaviors? 7. Unrealistic expectations. The pressure to always be available, the desire to always be available to help others, can create unrealistic expectations that lead to stress and burnout. When we continuously say yes to every request, we risk overcommitting ourselves and taking on too much. This can result in exhaustion, frustration, and feelings of being overwhelmed. Buddhism teaches the importance of managing expectations and setting clear boundaries. By recognizing our limits and communicating them to others, we can help avoid the pressure of always being available. Setting realistic expectations allows us to continue helping others without sacrificing our own peace of mind. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by unrealistic expectations placed on you? How might you manage these expectations while still offering support to those who need it? 8. Overlooking red flags. Trusting your instincts in our eagerness to help others, we sometimes overlook red flags or warning signs that indicate unhealthy or problematic behavior. Whether it's in personal relationships or helping others in distress, it's important to stay alert and trust our instincts. Ignoring these signs can lead to negative consequences for both parties. Buddhism teaches mindfulness as a way to stay present and aware in our interactions. By tuning in to our inner wisdom, we can better navigate situations and recognize when it's time to step back or address an issue. Trusting our instincts helps us make decisions that protect our well-being while still offering compassion. Have you ever ignored warning signs in a relationship or situation? How might paying attention to these signs and trusting your instincts help you avoid unnecessary harm or emotional drain? Conclusion. Practicing mindful compassion for a balanced life helping others is a beautiful and important act, but it's essential to do so with mindfulness, self-compassion, and healthy boundaries. Buddhism teaches that by loving ourselves first, setting realistic expectations, and practicing mindfulness, we can help others without sacrificing our own well-being. By maintaining a balance between service and self-care, we ensure that our acts of compassion come from a place of strength and abundance rather than depletion.